Random numbers. So the next assignment is asking you to create random numbers, right? So let me go ahead and show you how to do it. We talked about the math class and how it lets us calculate power. It also lets us calculate square root, right? But math also allows us to generate random numbers. So we're going to say math.random. All right. Now, what does math.random do? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Let's do a system.out.println of math.random. And not only do it once, but let's go ahead and do it a bunch of times. So I'm going to make a for loop around it. And I'm going to say I is less than 10, I plus plus, and then maybe you can think about what does math.random do? What does it output? What kind of random number does it return? Right? So I'm going to say OK, and this is what we get. Let's go ahead and iterate 100 times, and this is what we get, right? Think about it, and what you're going to notice is that we have numbers up to 0.9, and we have random numbers up to 0.0, right? So what does math.random give us back? It gives us back random numbers from 0 to 1. 0 is inclusive, meaning including 0, and 1 is exclusive, meaning excluding 0. The notation we use is a parentheses there. A bracket over here and a parentheses over there. So it's including 0, excluding 1. All right. What does that mean exactly? That means we get a random number from 0.00 to 0.9999999. Okay. All right. So now, if we want a range of numbers, let's say we don't want that. We don't want a range of numbers from 0 to 0.9999. Let's say we want a range of numbers from 0 to 10. All right. How would we do this? Well, what we can do is we could take the math.random and we can multiply it by 10. I'm sorry. Multiply by 10. Let's do that. What does that do? Well, if math.random gives us back a range of numbers from 0 to 0.999, multiplying by 10 on the low end would give us 0 times 10 is 0. And on the high end, or let me put 0.00, and on the high end it would be 0.999 times 10. So if we put that in a calculator, 0.99999 times 10, we get 9.9999. So it gives us a random range from 0 to 9.99999. All right, but we don't want the decimal places here or there. We just want the 0 to the 9, right? So how can we make that happen? Well, we're going to take this expression here. We're going to put it into a parentheses, and we're going to type int on the front of it, right? What does that do? That's saying, okay, this data here that is a double, is a fractional number. I am going to typecast it, we call it typecasting, as an integer, as a whole number. So what does this do? This cuts off the decimal place. We call it truncating the decimal place, right? So what is that going to do? Let's go ahead and run the program and see what happens. Int is there, we got there. I think we're good. I don't see what's the problem. Am I missing a parentheses maybe? Run it new. That's the int, that's the system print line. I'm sorry, it's not int parentheses, that's Python. I'm sorry, got confused there for a second. It's going to be parentheses int, like so. Okay, so then I'm going to run it, I'm going to compile it, I'm going to hit enter, and this is what it prints out, 100 zeros. All right, and so why does it print out 100 zeros? We want random numbers from 0 to 9, right? Well, the reason why is because when we do int parentheses, it's inting the math.random. It is truncating the decimal place of math.random first, and then it's multiplying that by 10. And remember, math.random is a random number from 0 to 0.999. So if we cut off the decimal place on the low end, we're going to get 0. On the high end, we're going to get 0. Right? So inting math.random always gives us 0, and we multiply by 10. All right, we don't want that. We want to do the math.random times 10 first, so we put parentheses around it, and then we want to int the result, right? So now let's go ahead and try it. And we get this, right? Random numbers from 0 to 9. We don't want 0 to 9. So we're going to do not 10, but we're going to go up to 11, right? So we'll run that. And here we go. We got random numbers from 0 to 10. And why don't we stop the video here, and we'll start again on the next video.